Most men think women want confidence, but what women are actually responding to is something deeper. It's not confidence, it's not dominance, and it's not control. It's frame. And if you don't understand frame, nothing else you do will ever feel right to her. You can be attractive, you can say the right things, you can even have chemistry, but if you don't hold your frame, she'll never feel safe with you. And when a woman doesn't feel safe, attraction collapses quietly. This is why some men seem calm, steady, and grounded, and women relax around them almost instantly. And why other men, even when they mean well, create tension without realizing it. The difference is not effort, it's not technique, it's the masculine frame they hold internally. Frame is not something you say, it's something you are. It's the emotional structure you bring into every interaction. When your frame is strong, she can relax. When your frame is weak, she feels she has to compensate. And women are not attracted to men they have to emotionally manage. Here's the truth most men never hear. Women don't feel safe with men who are trying to please them. They don't feel safe with men who are constantly adjusting. They don't feel safe with men who are looking for approval. Those behaviors communicate uncertainty, and uncertainty triggers her nervous system. A strong masculine frame does the opposite. It tells her, without words, that you are emotionally grounded, internally stable, and capable of handling pressure without losing yourself. That's what safety actually is. Safety is not being nice, safety is not being agreeable, safety is emotional reliability. A man with frame does not collapse when challenged. He does not overreact when things don't go his way. He does not rush to fix discomfort. He stays centered. And that centered presence is what allows her to let her guard down. Most men misunderstand frame because they confuse it with control. They think holding frame means dominating the conversation, leading aggressively, or asserting themselves constantly. That's not frame. That's insecurity wearing confidence as a mask. True frame is quiet. It doesn't argue, it doesn't prove, it doesn't explain itself. It simply remains intact. Imagine two men sitting across from a woman. One is constantly checking her reactions, adjusting his tone, changing direction based on her mood. The other is calm, present, comfortable in silence, unaffected by minor shifts in energy. Without thinking about it, she will feel safer with the second man, because safety comes from predictability. Not predictability in behavior, but predictability in emotional stability. A man with frame does not collapse when challenged. He does not overreact when things don't go his way. He does not rush to fix discomfort. He stays centered. And that centered presence is what allows her to let her guard down. This is why frame matters more than words. You can say the right thing and still lose frame. You can say very little and hold it perfectly. Frame is felt before it is understood. It shows up in how slowly you speak, how still you remain, how little you rush to respond. It shows up in how you handle disagreement. A man without frame tries to win. A man with frame allows difference to exist. He doesn't need agreement to feel secure. That's powerful. And power that doesn't need to announce itself feels safe. Another mistake men make is thinking frame is about being unbothered. It's not. Frame is not emotional shutdown. You can be warm, open, and engaged while still holding frame. The key difference is this: you are not emotionally dependent on how she responds. Her approval does not stabilize you. Her disapproval does not destabilize you. That independence is what women feel. And when they feel it, they relax. Relaxation is the gateway to attraction. This is why women often say things like, "I feel calm around him," or "I feel like I can be myself with him." They're not talking about chemistry. They're talking about frame. A weak frame creates tension even if the man is kind. A strong frame creates safety even if the man says very little. And here's the part most men don't want to hear. You don't build frame by acting differently. You build frame by becoming emotionally self-contained. That means your mood doesn't depend on her interest. Your confidence doesn't depend on her validation. Your direction doesn't depend on her reaction. You are already steady before she enters the picture. When a man lives from that place, women don't feel pressure around him. They don't feel rushed. They don't feel managed. They don't feel like they have to take control. Instead, they feel held. And being emotionally held is deeply attractive. This is why women often become more feminine around men with strong frame. Not because the man is forcing polarity, but because her nervous system finally feels safe enough to relax. Frame is not about being dominant over her. It's about being dominant over yourself, your emotions, your reactions, your need for outcomes. When you can do that, everything changes. You don't chase, you don't seek reassurance, you don't rush intimacy. You simply show up grounded. And that grounded presence becomes the anchor in the interaction. In the next stretch of this conversation, we're going to go deeper into how men lose frame without realizing it, how women test frame instinctively, and how holding frame naturally shifts the dynamic without force or effort. Because once you understand this, you'll stop trying to make women feel safe, and instead, they'll feel it automatically when they're around you. Most men don't lose frame in big moments. They lose it in small, unconscious ways. They lose it when they over-explain themselves. They lose it when they rush to fix discomfort. They lose it when they change their opinions to avoid tension. And every time frame slips, a woman feels it. Not logically, instinctively. Because frame is not about what you say. It's about how solid you remain when things are uncertain. A man with weak frame becomes reactive. If she pulls back, he leans in. If she challenges him, he justifies himself. If she goes quiet, he fills the silence. This tells her one thing: his emotional center is outside of himself. A man with strong frame does the opposite. If she pulls back, he stays steady. If she challenges him, he listens without needing to win. If she goes quiet, he lets the silence exist. He doesn't retreat, he doesn't pursue. He remains where he is. And that consistency is what creates trust. Women test frame constantly, often without knowing it. They disagree, they tease, they change energy. They push lightly against boundaries. Not to control you, but to see if you were emotionally stable. A man without frame interprets these moments as threats. A man with frame sees them as information. He doesn't harden. He doesn't collapse. He stays relaxed. And when a woman realizes that her emotions don't destabilize you, something important happens. She stops trying to manage the interaction. She doesn't feel like she has to lead. She doesn't feel like she has to control. She doesn't feel like she has to protect herself emotionally. She can rest. This is why frame makes women feel safe. Not because you were strong physically, not because you were loud or assertive, but because you were predictable in your emotional strength. Another way men lose frame is by seeking certainty too early. They want clarity, they want labels, they want reassurance. But certainty removes tension, and tension is not danger, tension is polarity. A man with frame can sit in uncertainty without anxiety. He doesn't need to know where things are going immediately. He doesn't need to define everything. He allows things to unfold. That patience signals abundance, because men who lack options rush. Men who feel complete don't. Frame is also shown in how you handle your own boundaries. A man with frame doesn't overcommit. He doesn't say yes to everything. He doesn't sacrifice his rhythm to maintain approval. He respects his time. And when a man respects his own time, women respect him. Not because he demands it, but because he models it. This is also why trying to be nice often backfires. Niceness without frame feels unstable. It feels like compliance. And compliance does not create safety. It creates uncertainty. A woman never relaxes with a man she feels she could overpower emotionally. She relaxes with a man who is calm enough not to be moved. That calmness allows her to soften, and when she softens, attraction deepens. Frame is what allows polarity to exist naturally, not because you force masculine energy, but because you embody it. Masculine energy is not aggression, it is containment.
the ability to hold emotion without spilling it everywhere, the ability to experience tension without reacting to it, the ability to be present without needing control. When you develop that, women feel it immediately. They speak more freely, they test less, they relax more, because they sense that you're capable of holding the space. This is also why men with strong frame are rarely chasing. They don't need to. They don't seek validation through pursuit. They don't measure their worth through attention. They are already anchored. And when a man is anchored, women don't feel pressure for him. They feel invitation. Invitation is attractive. Pressure is not. If you step back and look at everything we've covered, you'll see a pattern. Frame, safety, attraction, and chasing are all connected. A man who holds frame does not chase. A man who does not chase naturally becomes the prize. And this is where everything connects to the previous video. In this video, you learned how masculine frame creates safety and attraction without force. But to fully understand why not chasing works so powerfully, you need to understand the psychology behind it. That's exactly what I break down in my video called How to Stop Chasing Women and Make Them Chase You. That video shows you how holding your frame and removing neediness completely changes the dynamic and why women are drawn to men who don't pursue validation. Watch that next. Because once you combine a strong masculine frame with the ability to stop chasing, attraction becomes a natural. You don't try to hold it together, you simply are solid. And when you are solid, women feel safe. And when women feel safe, attraction follows.